Hey guys, it's Pastor Dave. I hope that you and all your loved ones are doing well. Today I'm going to continue a series that I've been doing that I'm calling Advancing Through Adversity. There's a great verse in the Bible in Proverbs 24:10 that says, "If you faint in the day of adversity, your strength is small." This is no time for God's people to weaken. This is no time for us to faint or to panic or to worry. This is a time for us to be strong and courageous in the Lord. My point today is we can advance in this adversity the message of the gospel of Jesus Christ. Romans 1:16 says, "For I'm not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it is the power of God to salvation for everyone who believes, for the Jew first and also for the Greek." There's an old saying that you possibly have heard before: there are no atheists in foxholes. We as a nation right now, you might say, are in a foxhole, and there are those who will listen to the gospel while they're in that foxhole if courageous believers will share their testimony and share the gospel with them. Many people in America right now have more of a listening ear to the truth of the gospel than ever before. Some of you may remember that in 2010, 33 miners were buried alive in a mine in Chile for 69 days. This was major news, and you can only imagine what these men and their loved ones were going through during this time. Can you imagine the emotional strain on them and their loved ones? But in the midst of the darkness of this mine, there was a man of God named Jose Henriquez who was going to be a light for the Lord and a spiritual leader for these men at this time. On an NBC News website, there's a story on 5th anniversary of rescue, Chilean miner is full of gratitude. Here are some excerpts of that article. During a stop in Philadelphia to promote the movie, Jose Henriquez talked about how he and his fellow miners made it to an underground shelter in the mine as the rocks kept crumbling. They found cans of tuna there and stretched out the tin's contents to 1 teaspoon per day per man. They did not know how long it would take for anyone above to discover they were alive. Henriquez remembers saying praise over every meal, no matter how tiny. "We gave thanks and asked God for guidance several times a day," says the man who became known as the pastor underground. He had seen his minister grandfather leading others in prayer and decided he would try to keep the group spiritually strong. "Faith was crucial to our survival. So we formed a sort of church below ground," says Henriquez, adding the miners would sing hymns to keep their spirits up. 5 years later, Henriquez says the ordeal was a God-sent life-learning experience that has improved his life. "For me, it was a blessing, an accident with a purpose," he says. He says his survival has helped strengthen his faith and the faith of others. He is grateful for that role and for the many people he has met since the life-altering events, he says. He and other miners often refer to experiencing a divine presence in the mine, a sort of 34th miner. "I think the hero of this whole story is Jesus Christ," said Henriquez. "He was with us every day. He has written a book about his ordeal miracle in the mine." That's a powerful statement that he made when he said, "For me, it was a blessing, an accident with a purpose." Well, this coronavirus has purpose. And we don't know all the dimensions of that purpose. But I believe that God's church and God's people can emerge much stronger as a result of this. You know, in the Bible, there were 3 men who were thrown into a furnace. That's not something that you would desire. Their names are Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and they were not going to bow to that king. And so King Nebuchadnezzar had them thrown into a burning fiery furnace. And when Nebuchadnezzar looked in there, he noticed that there was a fourth man in there, one like unto the Son of God. I believe that was Jesus. You know, if you think about it, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were never closer to the Lord than they were then. It's times like these, this pandemic, it's times like these that we can be closer to the Lord than ever as we trust Him, as we look to Him to meet our needs, as we know He'll never leave us nor forsake us. And I hope that you are trusting Him more than ever. And I hope that you're thankful for His blessings and that you're grateful for His goodness, because He will never leave us nor forsake us. And I look forward to speaking to you again very soon. God bless.